Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rebecca Roberts, the current world's strongest woman and, spoiler alert, newly crowned UK strongest woman. And this is my coach and partner, Paul Savage.
Yeah, so we're going to do a little bit of review, discussion about the comp, and then maybe a little talk about what's next too.
Yep. So let's get started.
So it was an amazing show, a lot of top athletes there, Ultimate Strongman again with Glenn Ross putting on a fantastic show, 1,000 strong crowd there about, filling out the Donny Dome, looked pretty much, I think it was a packed house, and yeah, fantastic. I mean, that's the biggest crowd you've competed with on it,
Yeah,
definitely by far.
It was such a great day, absolutely loved it. The
Brilliant.
crowd was amazing, the whole show was incredible. From start to finish, it was just an amazing production.
Yeah, always is. Glenn and his team put on fantastic shows. I think it's ultimatestrongman.tv for all their information. They also have a YouTube. I'm sure at Ultimate Strongman you'll find it. Yeah, just brilliant. It's going to be on Channel 5 for those that want to watch the full show later on the year. Definitely check that out. And should be really, really good. Last year's as well is going to be on some channel, not sure. If we find out, we'll link it because I think that's coming in soon. That was a really good show as well. But this time they've got Channel 5, which is brilliant. So now they're going to do all of the shows, actually women then the men. From now on, all going to be televised. So each individual country and the UK's is going to be the women and the men. So brilliant, doing a lot for the sport.
Exciting times. So let's get into the competition. So event number 1 was the tyre flip. This is going to be a good event for me. I'm tall, I've got a big structure, and
it's quite a high tyre as well.
Yeah. And last year I came third because I had a lot of fumbling around with the tyre. I'm quite dyspraxic, so I really struggle with my spatial awareness, and this is a great test for that.
And you never train on that kind of tyre. Because, I mean, there's certain tyres that have got certain different treads and things like that.
Yeah.
A tyre, it just isn't a tyre. That you've got to practice on the implement. Didn't have a chance to do that last year. And, of course, you got an injury with on the tyre last year as well in training. Got a big hematoma in the leg because you actually kind of kick it up with the leg. A little bit of a stopper on the tyre, got an injury. So we didn't get a chance to practice on this kind of tyre. This time I did a lot of good practice. Yeah. Really took the time down, and I think it was just over 20 seconds in the end, which was a fantastic run. You know, a really, really great performance there. Won quite comfortably. So, I mean, some of the other athletes we should just talk about, because this was a phenomenal lineup. You had Annabelle Chapman, got second in that event. Did I just say Animal Chapman?
Yeah, that's what Glenn called her.
Annabelle Chapman, the animal. Yeah, got second in that event. I think she actually PB'd in like every event they said. Yeah. So all of them actually. I think Donna had a fantastic performance. Donna Moore, obviously 3 times world strongest woman. She came back after losing some weight and looked phenomenal. Lucy, I think she totally smashed it. Had some great events. They all really performed well. I mean, just to say, like, I think Gemma Moore, who's a 265 deadlifter, ended up being 11th in this comp, so it was stacked. And yeah, first event went really well, out to a lead, and then of course you get to know what the numbers are in the next event, so definitely an advantage.
So then we move on to event number 2, which was the dumbbell. This was one that I was pretty scared about before I started training it.
Not one you've done much.
Because, yeah, I'd not really done much dumbbell before. I've only ever done one competition with dumbbell in it, and that was about 4 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago. So we were just hoping that it would go well.
I thought it would, though, on paper. Once she's got, you know, the technique down, which yes, does take quite a bit of time to get it spot on. It's a very technical event, but she gets a lot of leg power, got these ridiculously massive calves down there, get a lot of drive from her legs, and you know, that's what she's known for in terms of overhead, is, you know, ramming it overhead and getting them triceps to lock it out, so, you know, or catch it if she can. Couldn't kind of do the jerks last year, you had problems with the knees, but a jerk was slowly getting better. Managed to get a little bit of a jerk technique on this down, and it worked pretty well. She improved a lot in the training. Everything was kind of paying off. Steadily improving in the reps. Did do a little better in training, to be honest. The dumbbell was a little bit slippy, wasn't it? You kind of just lost it after 3 reps, didn't you? One thing is though, she was able to use both right and left arm, and that's something none of the other girls could do. Usually it's the case where you do have one arm and that's what you use, but some athletes like Brian Shaw, for example, with the men, are able to use both arms. It really can pay off if you can. And you was able to do that. That's how we train. So
especially when you've got a 75-second time limit, which is a little bit longer than 60-second. If you're going with one arm for 75 seconds, you're going to get tired. But if you've got the option to move on to the second arm and give the first arm a break, it's always going to be an advantage. So I got 8 reps on that, and tied with Donna Moore, who is literally the queen of dumbbell. They actually named the dumbbell after her.
She actually had the world record until about a week ago. I think still has the world record on that dumbbell. So yeah, Donna's very good at it. Got 8 reps to tie. I mean, was looking for double figures. I think you're capable of that, but that first sort of cluster set with the right arm, the strong arm, usually maybe 5-6 reps. Only managed to get 3. Did have a little bit of an injury the couple of weeks before, doing some silly rogue challenge that we won't get into. Didn't go well, but yeah, maybe the right wasn't perfect yet, but still tied for first place, so can't complain at all.
We move on to event number 3.
3.
And that was the deadlift for reps, which was 200 kilo for reps. This was one that we did a little bit of kind of sneaky tactics for. Because I'd come joint first in the dumbbell.
Smart tactics.
Well, smart tactics, yeah. I'd come joint first in the dumbbell, which meant that I would go last in the deadlift alongside Donna Moore, which meant that we knew the amount of reps that Lucy was going to do.
We actually both predicted the reps beforehand of 18, and that's what she ended up doing.
So yeah, we just decided if she does more than 15, which we knew that she would be wanting to leave it all out there because she was, I think, 3rd or 4th.
4th place at that time, so she had to do it. And yeah, Lucy's a 300 kilo deadlifter. Becca isn't quite up to that standard. Deadlift's definitely improved a hell of a lot. This was not on a deadlift bar, it's a little bit stiffer bar. Lucy still 18 reps, phenomenal. I think she pulled about 20 actually in total. Didn't quite get the down on some of them. Yeah, just phenomenal performance. And I think, maybe if you'd had to push it, 15 or 16 reps was there, but I think 18 was kind of impossible. So, 10 reps was quite a comfortable number for Becca to get. What she ended up with, had about 30 seconds left on the clock and was kind of just pacing to beat one ahead of Donna there anyway. So Donna got 9 reps, looks really good, really grinding through the reps. The conditioning is definitely very good right now. Obviously a lighter body weight, she was looking really good. And Donna was kind of the one that was getting in contention now, wasn't she?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Yeah. Deadlift, 2nd place, and really good result. That was kind of what we was thinking was going to happen, obviously, before the competition. Everything kind of going to plan.
And that moves us on to event number 4, which is my fave, and that is the Atlas Stones. Now, I was hoping for a win for this event because I'd won it last year, and I believe that I'm the best in the world at stones currently. So I wanted to just go out with a bang and win it. I did want that 5th stone, but it was huge, it was dusty, and
it was much dustier on the other side, to be fair. It was really dusty. It was kind of impossible. Sometimes that happens where stones aren't clean or there's some issue with them. It seems to happen quite a lot in your competitions, unfortunately. But yeah, you'd already won. So.
It is what it is. So I got a really quick 4, and that was enough for the win. And yeah, stones have been going well in training. I've been doing a lot of tackless work in training, which just massively helps with the kind of grip on the stones. Another thing that I've been working on is really rolling the stones up my body, which kind of translated really well over to a competition. I managed to implement that in my kind of competition event, and it worked really well, didn't it?
Yeah, so almost exclusively Taki-less training. Actually only had one session with Taki. And then some other, kind of resistance exercises that were working on that grip on the stone as well, and a lot of posterior chain work. And the one kind of weakness in sort of the deadlift and sort of the pull was, because you're applying that to a lot of these events, it was, a posterior chain and a little bit of lower back strength, hamstring strength, a little bit of glute strength now needs to come up, but the stones definitely were improved. The technique was improved, the strength was improved. It's just still coming down to that grip a lot of times. These are very big stones that Glenn has, say a little bit dusty sometimes, a little bit chalky, and very, very hard to hold on to. But you've got a battle with Donna, haven't you, coming up, and want to get that stone loaded, because nobody's been able to do it so far. And it's a stone, it's a weight that you've done many, many, many times in training actually for reps.
It's just a very awkward
reps,
stone.
Yeah, tough stone. Very high barrels as well. Real tough.
And then we go into the last event, which was the car hold. Now, I had absolutely been smashing this in training, because it's an event that you can't really predict how others are going to perform. Because we've never really seen a car hold amongst the top girls, apart from a couple of the girls doing the eliminator.
We've seen Annabelle do it last year.
She did really well.
She got a good time. I think this was a little bit heavier, but
yeah. So we just needed to kind of train it basically a lot, didn't we? And I think it went really well in training. I got up to 2 minutes with a car, which was of about a similar weight, quite comfortably. So I knew that it was going to be a good event for me. And I only needed to get 5th place in this event to come first overall. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to put on a show. I'm going to show the world that I've got the grit in me as well, that I've got the mental strength and toughness. So we thought, you know what, let's go out with a bang and push the points lead even further. And I think 2nd place was about 1 minute and 6 or 7.
Lucy.
Which was Lucy, and then that was followed by Donna and Annabelle.
Yeah, they all got over a minute. They're all pretty close.
That was a pretty insane event, wasn't it?
Yeah, really taxing event, crazy event, picking up a car and holding it for as long as you can, certainly not easy. It's very, very painful. But one thing is, like, this event is one event where if you don't train it and you're not used to it, it's a shock. I mean, it's like, oh my God, I need to put this thing down. But if you are able to slowly condition yourself for it, which is often quite hard, because, unless you've got kind of a little car, it's going to be heavy, obviously, it's a car. So I actually had a training on a frame where you added weight to it. It started with very little weight, doing a bunch of shrugs, because it's your traps that get the mass majority. Obviously, your shoulders are trying to be ripped from your body, and it's kind of your traps that keep them there. So doing some shrugs beforehand, then doing the hold immediately, and doing a minute hold after 15 reps. You're already, fatigued from that. That was working really well. Gradually up the weight from that before actually going into the car and training. So by the time it actually got to there, the car was kind of easy. So, it really worked. Everything kind of worked. All the different things we were doing in training. Just told her, you know what, you've probably won the competition, haven't you? But let's just do this for the fans. There's 1,000 people out there. I know you can win this event easily. I knew she could. I said, just go out there and smash it, and that's what she wanted to do. So, it sends a message to other promoters for other competitions as well, because you've got to get invites sometimes. Sometimes you haven't gotten them. She is, the #1, and that was a #1 performance. She is world's strongest woman, but that's just one competition. So, you've got to prove it at every competition. It doesn't carry over to the next competition. Anybody can be beat at any time. And it's just proven again that she's #1, and it was a dominating performance. It was, everything went, basically as well as it could, pretty much. So absolutely no complaints in terms of coaching and all that for the performance, and you was getting the crowd going. It was brilliant. I
just decided to have fun, and that was one thing that massively helped me on the day. I turned my nerves into just having smiles and laughs and just
because
yourself.
if you're kind of conditioned to doing it in training, if you've done it enough, You know, you should have done these things time and time again before you get to do it in competition. You're kind of conditioned to it, almost programmed for it, like almost like a robot. Just put, you know, you can kind of do it without thinking sometimes. So you don't need to be so nervous about what the result is going to be. You know, you just go out there, have fun and perform, and, you know, do what you do best. The competition day should be easy. You know, it should be a lot easier than in training. You're not doing multiple sets, it's one set. All you need to do is 5 events, really. In training, I mean, you do a hell of a lot more, don't you? It's a hell of a lot harder, and, you know, that's the fun part. Go out there, compete, you know, get the crowd going, have a good time. And you were just smiling from ear to ear the whole time, really, weren't you?
I had such a good day, and the meet and greet afterwards was just absolutely phenomenal. Being able to meet loads of people and kind of thank them for coming and supporting the girls, and that's the main thing, is just getting the sport growing. And if people are enjoying themselves, then that just adds to the
and let me tell you, they did support the girls. They were supporting the girls way more than the men, to be honest. You know, the cues were not so good for the men, and they were phenomenal for the girls 2 hours in. So, yeah, really not maybe the way that it was thought it was going to be coming in, possibly, because there was some big stars for the, you know, some pretty big names for the men too, and yeah, they wanted to see the women. They were definitely supporting you girls a lot more. So I think the men aren't needed, to be honest, in terms of like selling out, you know, the arenas. The women could do that on their own, but I think it's great that they're combining the two. You know, done that in CrossFit, and it really works. And yeah, I really like that format. So let's talk a little bit about what's next.
Yeah, so my next 2 shows are actually going to be Wales Strongest Woman and Wales Strongest Woman.
Just repeating the same show. She's going to do it twice over.
So the first one is going to be a qualifier for Britain's Strongest Woman, and then the next one is going to be a qualifier for UK Strongest Woman next year.
So 2 different federations,
yes.
basically, different ones.
One is going to be in June, the second one is going to be in July. So yeah, it's great just to be supporting the Welsh Strongwoman and pushing that forward, getting the promotion there for the sport in Wales to grow. And I'm really excited. Now. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of strong girls coming through from Wales, and just being able to push that forward and get the Welsh Strongwoman on the map is something that I feel really passionate about.
You got Jenna Stubbs, Britain's Strongest Woman under 82. Yeah. She's one of the best in the world, actually. Probably very underrated at this point. I don't think a lot of the Americans probably know her, but she goes over there for World's Strongest Woman, and they'll certainly know about her. She will
dominate.
Yeah, definitely going to be tough competition if you're up against her. And yeah, there's a lot of the Welsh coming through now on the women's and the men's side. Obviously, you've got Gav, Desmond as well. He qualified in this qualifier that was with the UK Strongest Woman. Definitely the Welsh are coming on. It's great to push that further. The second one in July with the Ultimate Strongman will be on TV as well, so that'll be really good. Definitely worth doing. Yeah. And you want to lose some weight now next as well? Like a weight will go up and down depending on, you know, what competitions and that we've got coming up. And
so over the next couple of months I will be dropping around 20 kilos and yeah, just getting myself down in weight because I feel a bit better at a lower body weight, and it will give me room then to bulk up for Worlds if it's needed, depending on the events. Or
the Dubai comp or whatever comes first.
So if you're kind of staying at this body weight and then you've got to train up for strength and increase the calories, the body weight can get a little bit kind of out of control. So I'm using the time now where I've got some lighter competitions just to get it back down again, and it could possibly fluctuate again towards the end of the year. But yeah, it's just the best thing for me right now. So we will be documenting that. I'll show you what I do to lose weight, some of the meals that I prep. I'll take you along on some of my cardio walks, and yeah, we'll document that. You'll be doing
more than cardio walks. You'll be doing sprints up this hill outside as well. Yeah. I'm going to do them too, so yeah, I don't know why, but
because you're in there.
Yeah, but we're going to be literally running up hills. We're going to do a lot of swimming. You won't be seeing that. We can't take the camera, obviously, but that's something for the cardio as well. Definitely working on a lot of the cardio as well as the strength. This is strength and conditioning at the end of the day. You've got to be fit. You've got to be fast. You've got to have great technique. You've got to work on everything, not just all about that strength and power. certainly got to work on that. But yeah, so say for working on the strength, you know, to kind of the maximum really heavy weights, it's kind of better to eat a bit more, isn't it? And not be in that calorie deficit for sure. You're going to have a bit faster recovery and being able to, you know, handle those big weights and those big sessions where you're really broken down. So now that these shows, you know, no disrespect to the other Welsh athletes, but you know, they are lighter, easier shows for you, aren't they, compared to some of the other shows. So, you know, now's the time to get, you know, a decent amount of weight off. And hopefully you can get down to, say, around 130, which would probably be about the lightest you've been. It's kind of around that. Kind of got to that before, around that weight, didn't you, when you did your last weight loss. So, yeah, I think around then, I think it'll actually be better for competitions, can being a bit lighter. You've got kind of the strength now, haven't you?
Yeah.
So just being a little bit quicker and, you know, it's about being that all-round athlete and getting, you know, no bad events, no weaknesses, be a bit quicker on the feet, and yeah.
So that was just our little recap for UK Strongest Woman and what was next. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below. Please just like, share and subscribe to my channel. I would massively appreciate the support, and we will be getting more videos out to you soon.